Yo, what is up everybody? We're doing a very special video today. As you can tell, things look a little bit different around here. And the goal of this video is basically to educate you guys on how bad schoolwork ethic, social anxiety, and an unhealthy obsession with video games and sports led to my YouTube channel. How it started, what it's been the last 6 years I've been doing Madden, and what it is today and where I'm at today. And in the process of telling that story, I'm hopefully going to be able to give you guys insight on as much about me as possible. From what you see on the outside, like ethnicity, why I'm so skinny, like you guys can see my arms in this video, I'm really skinny, not that tall either. And also what's on the inside, what's in my mind, what's in my heart, and hopefully this video does as good of a job as providing that as possible because, I mean, I've been doing YouTube for a long time now and I haven't really done a video like this before and I'm ready to do it now. So, to start off this story about how I ended up in YouTube, I gotta start off as a little tyke, as a younger kid, right? So, as a kid, you know, I grew up with my sister. She was like my sister and my best friend. And we would hang out all the time, we would play games, you know, we would do everything together. I would play with her dollhouse and she would play with my Hot Wheel cars. So it was a fair trade-off, alright? I didn't completely screwed out the deal, but that's how close we were. We did everything together, we got along all the time, we barely fought. But I never really had too many friends growing up, and you know, I never really had like arranged play dates or anything like that. Never like had like, I had friends in the school growing up in elementary school and stuff like that, but I never went to their houses or anything like that. So I never grew up with those kind of close relationships with people outside of my family. The closest thing I had to like friends that I would see outside of school is my cousins. I would see my cousins a lot. I have like a lot of cousins, so I would see them a lot. But otherwise, I was kind of distant from that. Right now we're setting the table and I set the social anxiety piece of the table. Now we're gonna set the sports piece of the table, and all these pieces are gonna connect. So the sports piece starts off with NASCAR, believe it or not. Doesn't start off with NFL, doesn't start off with NBA. Starts off with NASCAR. I started watching NASCAR when I was 8 years old. One of my older cousins used to watch it, and eventually he got his younger brother and myself into it to the point where I would watch NASCAR every single Sunday. I wouldn't really miss a race. I really enjoyed it, and I still watch it. And I'm not here to tell you why I enjoy watching NASCAR, 'cause I know a lot of people find it boring, watching cars go in circles. I know, it's not the funnest thing if you don't know what's going on, but I enjoy it, I watch it. So I got into NASCAR, and then eventually I got into football around when I was like 12 years old. My mom's ex actually had a Madden game on his PS3. It was Madden 08. And I never really dealt with football before. I never really watched it. I would laugh at some of the plays when my dad would watch it, but I never really watched games with him. I never really watched games in general until, you know, I started playing a little bit of Madden, and I would play with my cousin. I would play with my sister, believe it or not. I played Madden only with my sister a couple of times, and I played against the computer a lot. I started getting into Madden. Before that, I was strictly a Nintendo guy. I would play like Mario Party and Mario Kart, pretty much anything Mario. And, you know, I got into Madden, and you know, I started getting into video games a lot, and I played them a lot. I played them a lot before, but I started playing them when I was supposed to be doing my schoolwork, and this sets up the schoolwork piece. Until like 6th grade, I was pretty much the top of my class as far as getting the highest grades and stuff like that. Like 6th grade, I was pretty much on pace to be a valedictorian for my school. But then I just stopped doing my homework. I don't know. It was weird. It's like I started 7th grade, I just stopped studying, because like before especially my dad would always like quiz me on stuff, and he kind of just stopped, so I stopped and I started playing a lot of video games. And my grades suffered a little bit, not too much, but they really started taking a hit once I went to high school. So now we're setting up all these pieces. Now we get to high school, and this is where things kick off. This is where I struggle to make friends, alright? This is where I get into high school, and my first day, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I have no idea who to talk to. Thankfully, I had like 2 or 3 people I knew from elementary school, which was like a 1 through 8th grade thing. It wasn't like a middle school or anything like that, which is like a full first, like kindergarten through 8th grade thing. But I had a couple of friends in there, and you know, we basically met up, and you know, he introduced me to a couple of guys, and I hung on with those guys a little bit, that group of friends from my freshman year, and you know, at that point, I really never really said much. I would just sit at the table at lunchtime when we hung out, and I ate my food and I chilled, man. And that was about it. And you know, I still never really made any of these friends to where I would go after school and hang out with them and stuff like that. At this point, a lot of my free time at home I would spend playing video games and going on forums, believe it or not. Before like Twitter and all this stuff became big, like a lot of people went on forums and I was one of those people that would go on forums. The main site that I used to go to is actually not up anymore, unfortunately, but I used to go on some of those forums, and that used to be my biggest form of socializing with people besides my family, because I wouldn't really talk to these kids at school, and I definitely didn't talk to them after school. So as high school went on, I pretty much regressed as far as, you know, socializing with people. It's not that I, you know, wasn't cool with anybody and I sat by myself at the lunch table. It wasn't really like that. I had people to sit with, I just never talked to them. I was, I guess, scared to say what was on my mind, and I didn't feel like I had anything to contribute to the conversation. I didn't feel confident in what I was going to say that it even made any sense. So I was like, you know what? Why even talk? I'm not gonna say anything wordful, don't say anything at all. And that's what I did. I kind of just sat there, and a little bit of fear, a little bit of confusion, and plus, you know, like I said, I only knew these people so much, so I didn't know if I said something, they would take it the wrong way, and basically I overthought all these things, and a lot of those are characteristics of social anxiety. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's basically being uncomfortable in a social situation, and like around people, I would feel really uncomfortable, I'd feel really nervous, I would start sweating, and like, I mean, not like sitting at lunch doing nothing. At that point, that was my comfort zone. But if I actually had to talk, then I was nervous as all hell. Like, a lot of people are really nervous when giving presentations. Just imagine that, me doing that every single day if I ever had to say anything at school, you know? That's basically what it was for me, and it was tough. But on the side, while I was doing all this nonsense, I started getting into YouTube. And I told this YouTube story a little bit, so I don't want to get too into exactly how I got into YouTube. Basically, I started doing Mario Party, and eventually I got into Madden. I just messed around, did a couple of Madden videos, and people liked it, and it kind of hooked on, and then Madden became my main thing. I dropped the Mario Party, started playing a lot of Madden games, online games, you know, simple commentaries, voiceovers on the game, and that was my escape. That was my escape from everything, and that was perfect, to have an escape away from reality, because my reality wasn't the best one, and it was messy. And on top of everything else, so I went to a primarily white elementary school, I went to a primarily white dominated high school, so where, you know, majority of people weren't my skin color, weren't my type. And it's not like there was people racist, I'm not saying that, but it's definitely a little bit harder to make friends with people that are not your type in that sense, and that's kind of common sense. And you know, that made me a little bit inconfident in myself, my lack of social skills made me inconfident in myself, and then the fact that like I'm really skinny. And that's just the way I grew up. I wasn't really the biggest eater when I was growing up, so I just was really skinny. But as I got into high school, I started developing acid reflux. And acid reflux is basically, if you eat the wrong foods, it will upset your stomach and you'll throw it back up. And it's disgusting. And that's what started happening to me in high school, to where if I ate too much or I ate the wrong stuff, I would throw it back up. And it's not easy to gain weight doing that, all right? I actually was working out one summer, went to the gym, and at one point my trainer told me that you gotta start gaining weight if you wanna make any sort of groundwork in the gym, or you're gonna get any sort of success out of this. You're gonna get nothing out of it if you don't gain weight. I was so skinny, and I'm basically like this, and I still am. I still weigh the same as I did then. Alright, and I just couldn't gain weight. So all this stuff it just mentally brings you down, and especially when I was younger, as a high school student, a lot of people are really inconfident, and that stuff really brought me down. All this stuff is overthinking. It's all social anxiety qualities, unfortunately. It's stuff that you struggle with. So the next step after high school is college, naturally. And my college career started off with orientation. And college orientation this is where things start going downhill for me, basically. So college orientation was like a rude awakening, to where, at least in high school, I had a comfort zone of knowing a lot of the 250 kids or so in my class as we progressed for 4 years, and I got a good scouting report on them, or whatever you want to call it. But in college, I knew absolutely nobody. I didn't have like a 1 or 2 friend carryover like I had from elementary to high school. Absolutely no one that I knew. And in orientation, you know, it's all about meeting new people, and it's all about getting used to the campus and doing whatever the school wants you to do and learning about the school and yada yada yada, trying to make it fun. But that was hell. Those 2 or 3 days were pretty hell for me because I just wanted to go home as soon as I got there. I didn't feel comfortable, and the hardest part for me, like the hardest thing for me, and it's still the hardest thing now, is making friends. I really don't know how to make friends. I really don't understand the process. I guess I'm overthinking it once again, but it's just like, I don't know who exactly, like, should I talk to that guy or that guy? Should I avoid this person? How do you do that? When you go up to them, what do you say? And all this stuff. So I avoided it. Seems fair. If you don't like something, you avoid it and you just move on with your life. But avoiding it led me to feeling really uncomfortable in that orientation. We're split up in like a bunch of different groups. So I'm in like a group of 9. All these people are hanging out and talking to each other, and I'm just there by myself. All right. I don't want to get too into these stories, but during my college orientation, we went on this like little party boat, I guess. We went down a river, and they were playing music and people were dancing. And I remember sitting there the entire time in this cold ass boat, just sitting there. Like as everyone's dancing and stuff like that, there's just like a couch inside the boat. And I just sat there. I sat next to this one kid on my left, and there were these 2 girls on my right. And I don't know why the hell, like I guess they didn't want to dance or anything, or they just wanted to chill. But I just sat there. I don't know, it was really, like I always remember that. It's not a good memory because I remember just sitting there and it's just like, I wasn't even talking to these people. They were chill and they were trying to talk to me a little bit. I wasn't really talking back. I was just like, I don't even know what to say. And I remember there was one point where I had to use the bathroom and I'm like stuck between these people. So rather than asking to go and, you know, can you please move so I can go to the bathroom, I just sat there. I don't know, you don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. You don't want to bother them. So I never did anything, and that's a really bad problem, and that's gonna lead to a lot of big problems. Not letting people know how you feel. Just a little tip, let people know how you feel. A lot of people wanna help you. Shying away from them, not the move, all right? So I had one class in my first semester, and it was a psychology class. It was a class that we kind of had to take. You had to take one of those psychology-like classes in order to graduate, and they put it on my schedule my first semester. I didn't really choose it. They gave it to me, but it was a cool class. I liked the class because I learned a lot about people and how people think, and you know, the fact that there's people that are almost as insecure as I am, and that's a normal thing, and it's not weird. And I thought that was pretty cool, learning about just human psychology. And in that class, our final assignment was opening up about ourselves. And in that final assignment, I opened up about myself as much as I could. I said like, hey, I'm a Guyanese kid, and I'm living in America, and I'm basically the opposite of everything normal. And here I am trying to make a living, and this is what I do. And I mentioned a little bit about how I do YouTube, and I mentioned, I was pretty real about it. I was telling you guys what I'm telling you now, that I didn't really have much friends, and I was really scared to socialize with people. And I always remember, at the end of that essay, like after we got it back, first of all, my teacher really liked the essay. Not the essay itself, but the way I presented it to people. I guess, you know, since I was doing YouTube, I had a little bit of an advantage of being able to present stuff. But on the essay she wrote, you need to seek help. She wrote that like, you should talk to someone about this problem. And well, she was right. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna go now to my second semester of my second year of college. And this is late January. I'm 19 years old at this time. And I'm starting to get some new classes on my resume besides basic classes that you take at the beginning of your college career, like math and English and all that stuff. Now I'm starting to gear things towards my major. I had a business class. I had a media class on my schedule for this semester, because doing YouTube and all that, and as successful as that was, I was like, hey, maybe, you know, business was my major at the time, but maybe I could look into this media stuff. I had somewhat of a passion for writing, and obviously I love sports, so if I could do something like commentary wise or writing wise and whatever sport, like whether it's NFL or NBA or even NASCAR, that would be cool. So I went in that class, and this is like literally, we're going all the way to the bottom. We're going to the lowest of lows now. Because in this class, as soon as I went into it, I just got this huge anxiety strike to where I'm sweating, my heart's racing, and I want to get out this class as soon as possible, as soon as I sit in it. And the reason why wasn't even that big of a deal. When I explain it to you, you're gonna think, what? Basically, the reason why I was freaking out is because I just sat in this class and there was a bunch of people who were, conversating. A lot of people were, talking to each other. I was kind of the only one sitting by myself, not saying anything before the class even started. And all these people were really confident. And once the class started, they had all these goals in mind and, stuff that I didn't have. And I just felt really uncomfortable. And I just kind of broke down at that point. And I couldn't go to classes anymore. I started skipping classes after that. I started skipping a science class, and then I was like, oh shoot, I skipped this this talking class where we gotta present stuff. I forget what they call those, but I started skipping that. I started skipping my business class, and I started skipping every class, and I basically started becoming a dropout. And this is a true story that I'm about to tell. This happened for months, okay? So at this point, I'm not going to classes anymore, but I didn't want to tell my parents that I wasn't going to college anymore. So I had to pretend that I was still going to class. So I really didn't know where to go when I was supposed to be going to classes, but not letting my parents find out. I still lived with my dad at the time. So what I ended up doing was I would drive to college when I was supposed to go for those classes, but instead of going to class, I would sit in my car. I would sit in my car and I would just go on my phone and I would, check on news, read stuff up, play some games on my phone. Every once in a while, I would go to the student center and buy a snack and a drink and eat in the car, and that's where I would spend all my time. If I had to get lunch, I would go to the cafeteria and eat lunch by myself like I used to, no problem. Every once in a while, I would switch it up, go to the library and just get some editing done and go on my laptop like I used to do, no problem. Except this is a huge problem. And it went on for the rest of the semester, until May when we finished and finals were supposed to be done. And I just pretended that I was going to college the entire time, but eventually those lies caught up to me, and my dad's trying to ask me what my grades were and how I did in college, and eventually he needed to know what my grades were for financial aid reasons, I believe, and I had to tell him the truth. I had to crack. I had to let him know everything, not just the truth that I didn't go, but why I didn't go, and how college life was affecting me and how I couldn't handle it personally. But I never told him in person. I wrote it in an email. I typed everything out in an email, and I guess I didn't have the balls to say it in person, so I put it all in an email. But thankfully, I pretty much hit the lottery when it comes to my family, because my dad, my sister, and my mom, they're all behind me no matter what. My parents have been divorced for 10 years at least now, but no matter what, they're always supportive of me no matter what. My sister's always there for me. We're always there. We have each other's backs. So once I told my dad and my sister first, they found out, it wasn't about, how to fix everything and how to make everything right. It was just how to make sure I was okay. And that was the only concern, make sure I was okay. And if me being okay meant that I wasn't gonna go to college, I was gonna take a semester off and indefinite time off, then yeah, whatever it took, they were gonna make sure I was comfortable and I was okay and everything would happen. And my mom found out next, she took a little bit more control, where she was like, all right, you should go see a therapist about all this stuff and see what's going on, talk to them. Because my mom had talked to a therapist before. She's like, this will be good for you. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I never told her this. I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted to do for years. I want to see a therapist. Because during those times when I was in the college library, I would look up social anxiety and, what are the signs of it, and do little tests online, little surveys to say whether you would have it or not, because I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew this might be what's wrong with me, and when I'll take those surveys, I would ace those things with flying colors, unfortunately. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, I do want to see a therapist, but I never had the courage to say anything, because I didn't know how to tell people, oh yeah, no, I have social anxiety, I'm scared of all this stuff, because you're scared to talk to people. That's one of the things of social anxiety, you're scared to talk to people, so you don't really come out. You just do nothing for your life, and it's a scary thought, but it's true. But thankfully my family kind of got me going the right way, and I started seeing this therapist, and I saw this therapist for 8 months or so, and it wasn't a huge success or anything like that. It didn't completely turn me around, but I learned a couple of things about social anxiety. I learned what's wrong, and a couple of things to make it right, and how to feel less uncomfortable in social situations and be more comfortable in my own skin and be more confident in myself. But it wasn't really, the fix for everything. But there was this one point when I was seeing my therapist where we had this little cross bridge, and I couldn't cross this bridge, and with YouTube in the way, basically. YouTube was blocking my ability to cross this bridge. And the reason because of that is because in order to socialize and make new friends and, go out and all this stuff and maybe go back to college, I had to stop doing YouTube as much as I was doing, because as a lot of YouTubers can tell you, it's hard to balance social life and YouTube life. For me, I didn't have the social life. I didn't have to worry about that. So all my eggs were in one basket in YouTube, and that was all good. And eventually I decided I would keep all my eggs in that YouTube basket because it was working out really well for me, and it was a good decision because YouTube continued to be successful for me. And as you guys know, as of today, I'm almost at 500,000 subscribers, about like 498,000. So that was a pretty good decision, but I kind of tanked the whole social life thing. And for the next couple of years, my main part of socialization was continuing to see family. And when I saw this family and like a couple of people through my mom, my dad, and my sister, my family with my mom, dad, and sister, they would tell everybody about my YouTube stuff, and I wouldn't tell anybody because I wasn't really comfortable talking about my YouTube. Because as uncomfortable as I am talking about my insecurities, I'm just as uncomfortable talking about my success story. It's just not who I am. I'm not gonna go around like, yeah, this is my YouTube channel, I'm killing it, yo. Like, no one can touch me on YouTube. I'm too good, yo. I got like 400,000 subscribers. You got like 0, dude. This is how I do it. Like, I don't walk around like a swagger either. That's just not me, as you guys can probably tell from the stories that I'm telling. So, that was a little bit uncomfortable dealing with all that stuff where people knew who I was on that YouTube thing and how successful I was, yet at the same time I had all these struggles that they didn't really know about. And the other main part of socialization that I would do is going on some of these trips that I was blessed to be invited to as being a YouTuber. Being invited to EA Play a couple of years, being invited to the Orlando studios for EA Sports to play the game, and those are cool. And even some of these trading card conventions. I went to like 2 trading card conventions last year. ScoMo invited me down, and I met a who's who of sports YouTubers, like Madden and, basketball YouTubers, whether it's Cash Nasty or iMaverick or Toke or Onto or QJB, and even people with less subscribers than me. Like I mentioned all the big guys, there's also all the low guys. Literally just the who's who. I met Tico, I met the Mutt Wieners, I met K-Spade the Prospect, I met all of these guys, alright? And then even like a couple people I don't even talk to too much, but I met them anyways. I met Nick the Bulls fan, I met that kid Kuda. Somehow, some way, I didn't become best friends with any of these guys, but I met these guys. And thankfully, I already had a little bit of a scouting report on these guys. I already knew we had a common interest in sports and video games and specific video games, so it wasn't really the most uncomfortable thing. The uncomfortable thing about going on those trips is just, especially during those trading card things where there's so many people in so many places we would go to, and I wouldn't really know what to do in these social situations. I would kind of freak out, like I wasn't prepared for it. And especially those trading card things where, I'm by myself having to figure out what to do with these conventions. I would just freak out and get these anxiety attacks, and I would just feel like crap the entire trip and not feel good about myself. And I realized I still have a long way to go, and I still got a long way to try to conquer this thing. As much as I thought I overcame on those therapist sessions, I knew I still had a long way to go, and that would lead to about 9 months ago, like late 2016 time, alright? We're getting more recent time now. And at this point, my YouTube channel is there, over 400,000 subscribers, so much success. But for me, I felt like, a lot of the goals that I set out to accomplish years ago, I accomplished pretty much all of them. I got over 100,000 subscribers. I became one of the biggest Madden YouTubers out there, up there with like almost anyone. I was invited to the EA events. That's something I wanted to do. I wanted to, be invited to those events. I always wanted respect from my peers more than anything else. So to have that respect from the EA company to where they're like, yeah, this guy's killing it, let's bring him down. And to have respect from those YouTubers that I talked about once I met up with them, like, yeah, you're doing good things, keep it up. Because, I really just wanted their respect more than anything else. And more than I really should want it, but to have that was big for me. But I still had all these struggles that I was dealing with, and I wasn't gonna find them in YouTube. I thought I started thinking maybe I should do something outside of YouTube. I've hit all these goals and I never made new goals for myself. And what happened was, throughout this story, there's one common theme. I've ran away from every bit of fear that I had. I've ran away from everything. I ran away from social situations. I ran away from college, all of it. So I was thinking about running away from YouTube. Maybe start doing YouTube less and try to focus on making friends. And you know, I never made those friends, and I stopped making videos as often as I used to. So that was just a horrible combination. So for months, I would have like these days where I would spend in my room the whole day doing nothing, not doing YouTube, not talking to anyone, just in my room on my laptop doing nothing, feeling crappy about myself and feeling really, really down. And I didn't know what to do. So I set up a meeting with a therapist that I was seeing years ago. I met up with her, 3 or 4 months ago, and like, I want to say last May. I was trying to remember which month it was. Last May, I believe. I met up with her because I wanted to know what was wrong with me. I wanted to know why I wasn't doing YouTube anymore. Why nothing felt like it was going right. Why I felt unmotivated. Why I wasn't, doing what I should be doing. And I talked to her, and, there was a while where we were talking and I was trying to figure out what was wrong, and she was laying out this groundwork for me to basically stop doing YouTube. She's like, all right, so you've done what you've done in YouTube. I think it's time for you to start a new chapter in your career. Here's what you should think about doing. Maybe you should go back to college. And going back to college is something I've wanted to do at some point in my life. Whether it was then when we were talking, I don't really know, but the groundwork was being laid out. And she was asking me like, all right, so you're done with YouTube, right? And after a couple minutes of talking, I was like, no, I'm not even close to done. I'm not done at all. I'm anything but done. Because if I'm done, then I'm done making videos. And no one gets to watch those. The people that, like what I do, like the videos that I make, and want to be entertained by them, and that's their escape, they don't get that anymore. They're robbed, like, I don't know, not that they're robbed of that, but I'm not making them anymore, and I'm letting people down, and I would always do YouTube for 10 people watching, or 100 people, or 1,000, not necessarily the amount of thousands that watch my videos. I would do it for a couple of people, anytime. And at this point in my YouTube career, I started losing subscribers and stuff like that, and people were losing interest in the channel. I wasn't making videos as often, being an idiot, and I was like, you know what? I gotta not let that bother me. The fact that things might not be peak success right now, and just try to make videos for those people who were dedicated, and because YouTube, you guys are a huge part of my life, a huge part. Like my family, I have two things in my life that I cherish. I have my family and I have you guys. And my family's like 75%, alright, because they're really important to me. But that other 25%, it's all you guys watching. I don't have any other people in my life. It's you guys. So I can't throw that away. I just had to figure out how to get my head back in the game. How to stop running away, basically. How to just get things done. Okay, I had to conquer the biggest problem I've ever had in my life. Besides, nothing worse than dropping out of college and not being able to make friends and all stuff. I had to figure out how to stop running away. And part of the problem that I had was that I struggled to simply interact with people on like Twitter. Because before, like a couple years ago, I was doing a lot of collaborations with YouTubers, and I was doing a lot of subscriber games. I would ask people on Twitter and stuff like, hey, you want to do a game? Want to play a game? But I stopped doing that for the last year because, like I said, my escape became my reality, and my reality was having to interact with these people, and I just dodged it. I avoided it. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I didn't feel comfortable DMing these certain people like, hey, you want to play a game? I didn't feel comfortable just tweeting out if you want to play a game, because a couple of people will reply, and I didn't want to have to pick which person to reply to and just respond to all that, and it got me so anxious and sick in my stomach, and I don't know, it just feels so dumb saying this out loud, but I don't know, I know a lot of other people struggle with this as well. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to feel stupid saying all this stuff. I just want to tell you guys the truth, and if whatever you guys say, I can't really worry about that. Because my biggest problem is just worrying about people judging me. I can't worry about that. I just gotta put this all out there, and hopefully you guys you guys take it whichever way you want. But yeah, so that's where I am today. where I'm trying to just get things done. I'm trying to overcome my problems. I've been making a lot of videos the last month. I've been doing a lot of subscriber games, so I'm getting all of that in. I'm getting ready for Madden 18, trying to gear up and trying to be the best me possible. And I think that's where I'm at right now. But I'm not there yet. I'm not the best me possible. It's gonna take a long time for me to get there. But I've been wanting to do this video for years. I've been wanting to do this video for you guys for years, because you guys have deserved this for years, okay? I've thought in my head how I would do this certain video for years for you guys. But part of me doing this video was I wanted to do this video when I was the best me possible and I was overcoming all my problems. But I mean, I feel like it's better that you guys are along for the journey, because I've been blessed to have this platform to talk to thousands of people whenever I want to every single day. So why not try to share my journey on overcoming my own personal struggles and trying to help other people who might be struggling with something what I am struggling, and, you know, hopefully give some people some motivation, because, like, you know, I know there's people who are really confident about what they're doing in their life, and they might not think there's a bridge at the end or the light at the end of the tunnel, but I mean, you'll find it in the weirdest places. I found it in YouTube. I had no idea that it would end up like this, you know? Like, I had no idea I would have, like, basically a career out of YouTube. One thing about my YouTube, I never do it for money. Never have worried about the money, and hopefully never will. Because I feel like I do it for myself, to have fun, and for you guys. And, like, if you do it for money, like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a sin, but personally, I feel like if you do it, it can lead to the biggest rises, but it can also lead to the biggest downfalls. And it can lead to, you know, losing trust in people, because, you know, I try to make this a main emphasis of my videos to not fool the viewers, because if you try to fool the viewers, then that's how they lose trust in you. And people aren't stupid. People can see things. You don't have to explain everything to them. Like, in Madden videos, people will always, like, explain in their videos, yo, I'm getting screwed over right now. My guy didn't make the one-handed catch, or my defenders are dropping interceptions and they're getting all ragey and all that stuff. And I hate that when people are doing their videos, because I can see it for myself. Let me judge what's going on for myself. Okay? Don't make me feel stupid. Don't force an opinion on me as well. So I tried to not do that in my videos. So, I mean, I guess the main thing I strive for in that is respect. Like I said, probably more than I should, but that, and I just want to make people happy, you know? I just want to make sure I'm being the best me possible, and hopefully I'm on the road to doing that. So that's where I am today. So, if you made it this far in the video, I want to give you a thumbs up. I also want you to give me a thumbs up and leave a like in the video. I never asked for likes in the video, but I just want to know how many people watched the video. So if you like the video, if you made it this far, just, you know, thank you for doing that. Yeah, so this was hard for me to do. Like, I'm sweating like crazy right now doing this video. Like, I'm sweating like crazy, and I was so nervous to get this video done today. I was pacing back and forth thinking what I should say. So I'm glad to get this done. I really am. I want to get this out there for you guys. I really do. So that's about it. So hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys aren't turned off by this and never watch again. You guys come back and you guys learn something from this. Learn something about me from this, and you guys, I don't know. I'll catch you guys next time, man. I'll let you guys judge for yourself.